after much anticipation and tens of thousands of audition tapes that they went through, Harry Potter cast is finally locked in. The main trio is announced, and these child stars are really in for quite the roller coaster of media training and emotional abuse. And I just really feel bad for them. We need to protect them. And they're buckling up for the next 8 years of their lives. I don't think they understand what they've just signed up for.
The thing is I think that I think that Warner Brothers probably did their best to impress upon them what is going to happen.
Or their parents,
but that does. I say that because they did the same thing to Ben Affleck when he got cast as Batman. They're like, just don't go on the internet.
So this is the only photo of them that we were even able to find. Yep. And it's the three of them posing together.
And by the way, Discussing Film did turn the comments off.
Yeah. Right. So the role of Harry Potter went to Dominic McLaughlin, I'm not sure.
McLaughlin.
And then Hermione is Arabella Stanton, and Ron Weasley is Alistair Stout.
Which is the most British name that's ever been named
Alistair
before.
Stout.
These are some very British children. This was the statement from showrunner Francesca Gardner and executive producer and director Mark Mylod. After an extraordinary search led by casting directors Lucy Bevan and Emily Brockman, we are delighted to announce we have found our Harry, Hermione, and Ron. The talent of these three unique actors is wonderful to behold, and we cannot wait for the world to witness their magic together on screen. We would like to thank all the tens of thousands of children who auditioned. It's been a real pleasure to discover the plethora of young talent out there. So those other kids are crying themselves to sleep tonight.
I mean, actually, it's probably different because it's like with a casting call that big, none of them actually thought.
Well, they're doing a casting call for the next Hunger Games movie right now, and they're like having a sweepstakes where a fan is going to get a background role.
They do that a lot. A lot of movies do that. But I do imagine that whoever came in, because they do the open casting call, and then they whittle it down to like 10, 20, 30 people. Whoever was like in the running for the top 5 of each character, all of them are crying themselves to sleep. Right
How do they do casting calls for someone like Brian Baumgartner in The Office? They're like, yeah, we need a fat idiot. Like, that's me!
I mean, that's a thing, right? Like, you got to be overweight, you got to be comical.
We need like a loser.
The Harry Potter roles launched Daniel Radcliffe, Emma Watson, and Rupert Grint to worldwide fame in the early 2000s, and the HBO series could very well do the same for McLaughlin, Stanton, and Stout, who are largely newcomers. They say McLaughlin acted in Grow, an upcoming comedy starring Nick Frost and Golda Rosheuvel.
That one is not out yet.
Yeah, and then Stanton starred as Matilda in a Matilda the Musical on West End from 2023 to 2024. And then they said that this is so stereotypical. The kid playing Ron Weasley was in a potato commercial.
I know. he's literally Ron Weasley.
He's not Irish in the movies, though. He's just redhead.
He's got red hair, so he's spiritually Irish, even if he's not.
It's like, this great Shamrock Recording Company found him.
So they're pretty much unknown.
Scooter Braun got him the job.
And it is going to launch their careers, but they're not going to make even a fraction of the money that the original cast made off of the movies, I'm sure.
Well, I guess Sofia Vergara's not interested.
So here's the thing. It's reported in the Daily Mail article. Now, again, this can't be substantiated. There could be a misinterpretation of the info, but supposedly they're going to spend $75 million an episode on this show. So back of the napkin numbers say they do 8 episodes a season and they do 7 seasons, 1 for each book. You're looking at about $600 million a season. That's totaling insane. About $4.2 billion total. I think that, first of all, they're going to get massive tax breaks because it's being filmed in the UK. They're going to get a crap ton of money back by filming in the UK. And if you really think about it, Andor spent $600 million on 2 seasons for a show that nobody watched, other than some diehard Star Wars fans who needed something to keep them satiated while they waited for something good to be made for the first time in decades. I don't know if there's much that you can say that would justify this, but if there were 2 franchises in entertainment that can justify heavy price tags, it's Lord of the Rings and it's Harry Potter, and they'll make a lion's share of money off of toys and merchandise and things like that. But the thing is, like you said, the kids aren't going to make back end money because there's no way to monetize that. They're not going to have deals that say if they make this much money on opening weekend, they get this % of the gate or something like that. It's going straight to streaming.
In 15 years, we're going to see articles that are like, what happened to Arabella Stanton?
They're going to make money. They're going to make plenty of money, but I think they said that, what was it, 86 million pounds, not dollars, British pounds. Like here, Daniel Radcliffe made like 86 million. Emma Watson made like 60 something million, and poor Ron just got shafted, only made like 37 million, and they got a lot more because the ability to make and monetize when you're releasing in the theaters is far greater than just going straight to streaming. And it's not like people trust these streaming services to be honest about what the numbers are. They're just going to push things from one column to the next.
Well, these kids also won't be able to take other jobs because the filming schedule on this is going to be extremely strict so that they don't have a Stranger Things happen.
Yeah.
They don't want these kids to like basically look like adults by the time they're done. So I think they're like all look to be around 10 years old, which is accurate to the books.
Yeah.
$75 million an episode, though, is absolutely outrageous.
I think House of the Dragon cost about $20 million an episode.
That's insane.
That's what Valiant Renegade was saying. And he doesn't think this is true. He thinks, and again, just take this as what we're saying here. We're not claiming this as fact, that this could very easily end up being false. It's also funny because I'm picturing what they're going to do is they're just going to go grab those sets that they used for the original Harry Potter. They're going to put them back together and put them back up.
That would cost less than CGI everything.
Well, they're going to do that. I fully believe that they're going to try to do as much as they can with the old sets as possible because they spent so much money on it. And it's the type of thing that you don't want to make great changes to because it ties directly into the theme parks. And the theme parks make them a lot of money through Universal. So you want the TV show to have as much visual continuity with the movies, which has as much visual continuity with the theme parks and the merchandise so that you can keep people buying stuff.
They're going to spend all this money on a set design and everything just for Kai Cenat's Stream University trailer to blow it out of the water. Like, find those guys.
Yeah.
He just mogged them effortlessly.
I did laugh at this. I did at like how close they got on so many of these casting options, and then you get down to Snape, and it's just one. Because like it was the Quirrell casting that made me laugh because it is actually really accurate. Like he looks a lot like the guy who played him in the original. There is what Mary would call phenotype similarities to a lot of these, which I sent Mary over the weekend because we had two thumbnails that looked like they were of the same person and they weren't of the same person. It's going to be very, very interesting. I do want these kids to be left alone. I do hope that the internet is kind to them. I say that knowing that they're not going to be. The journalists
are salivating over this opportunity. Yeah. Like, we're going to ask these 11-year-olds what they think of neo-pronouns and whether they disavow J.K. Rowling.
Well, I mean...
like, that's what they want. You know that.
They do want that, but also the audience, I already see people pointing out that Hermione doesn't look like Hermione in the books, and this is going to come up. And I hope that Warner, like I said earlier, I think Warner Brothers did their best to inform them that the media crap storm is going to be all-encompassing, but I don't think that you can actually put it into words for a property of this size.
We don't know hardly anything about these young actors, but it appears that Arabella Stanton playing Hermione is not white. We don't know for sure, but I would guess that on the census she is not a white person, and that is something people were quick to point out.
I think that that will be confined to the internet. I don't think that outside of the internet. The Snape one is more obvious, the casting dissimilarity.
Yes.
But for this, it's like when people bring up Dean Cain as Superman. Dean Cain is part Asian, but he still looks like Superman. He still has the look of Superman, so it's not as big of a deal.
She has like facial similarities to Emma Watson.
She does, especially when she was younger. She absolutely does. So I don't think that's definitely not gonna turn off the normies in any sense
But
of the
if they
imagination.
ginger-sided Ron Weasley, it would be pandemonium.
I'd be furious.
And let's face it, the people who weren't going to watch because of Snape aren't going to watch any less because of the Hermione casting. The people who were already boycotting because of the casting problems prior have already left the train. And barring something really, really obvious, you're not going to turn off more people because turning Snape off was already enough for them.
I don't know if you could tell because the photo is so far away, but does Dominic McLaughlin have green eyes?
I can't. They look blue.
Radcliffe didn't, and he didn't wear the color contacts either.
Oh,
so we can't tell.
I mean, look, they look blue to me. But they're gonna give Ron the Zoomer broccoli cut. I can just tell.
He's already pretty close.
He's got the broccoli cut.
Yeah. So you saw someone guessing that this is going to get canceled after 3 seasons.
That is never going to happen.
Not possible at this point. That's why
possible.
Rings of Power is not going to be canceled, despite the fact that it crashed and burned, because once they were locked into that deal, with the amount of money tied up in it, there is no way they're abandoning it. Even if it ends up that no one's watching it, that everyone hates it, they're going to finish it all the way through for 8 years.
The best way you'll be able to tell the success of this show will not be in the ratings, because what's going to happen is they're going to obfuscate, as they always do. Streaming numbers being what they were, they're not. It's more opaque, right? So that's a problem. The way you'll want to know if it's successful or not is what level of merchandising starts to encroach on the original film. So if you start seeing more merchandising with the new cast members and less with the old cast members, that's how you'll know that it's actually successful. Because say what you want about Star Wars, but you can tell what's successful by what they choose to market. They still feel like when they need to make money, they make merch with the old trilogy.
But I just don't buy that the people who grew up with the original Harry Potter cast are going to feel as attached to the new version. And I don't buy the idea that kids these days who weren't, attached to the original by nostalgia are going to care about this. So I don't really know who this is for.
It's for the parents who grew up with the franchise and hoping to get their kids to watch it.
I suppose
kind of like, but then again, Lilo and Stitch just made like $300 gazillion at the box office because it was parents who grew up with Lilo and Stitch bringing their kids to go see Lilo and Stitch.
I guess
live
it's
action.
not a one-to-one comparison because the Lilo and Stitch movie is a live action adaptation. It wasn't live action to begin with, so you're not actually replacing a cast member.
No, but it's still a different interpretation because there was changes made, and the point being that one was made for the adult or for the young audience at the time, which is like 20 years ago. I didn't watch Lilo and Stitch, but the new one, they get the benefit of bringing in the parents and the kids.
I knew that slop was going to perform well.
Oh yeah. And it
watch.
Ruined Mission Impossible. You should watch my Mission Impossible review, guys. You should. We fixed the thumbnail.
Mission Impossible is gonna get mogged by Lilo and Stitch at the box office.
It did.
Yeah.
This weekend. Yeah. So, do with all of this what you will. They're turning the comments off on discussing film. They do that all the time on these types of things, and we'll keep a close eye on how this is going. But I wish those kids the best, and I hope that they make a lot of money.
Thoughts and prayers.
I hope they make a lot of money, and I hope they do not turn on J.K. Rowling like the original 3 actors did. I hope they in a world of Daniel Radcliffe's, be Draco Malfoy.
Yeah.
In the world of Harry Potter's, be a Draco Malfoy, because Tom Felton was always, even though he disagrees with J.K. Rowling, always gave her flowers, as they say.
Thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the show. Bye, guys.